and welcome back to Infinite Base Books and Stories and to the third tale in the House series. Today's story, The Bets, follows four friends who thought they could brave the mysteries of the old house on the edge of town. But as you'll soon discover, some risks aren't worth taking, especially when you are not sure what's lurking behind the door. So settle in, turn the lights down low, and join me as we step into another chilling chapter of The House. The story began with four friends, Josh, Malik, Ayo, and Tunde, on a warm, restless evening. They were sitting on an old park bench near the infamous abandoned house. The friends were thrill seekers, often daring each other to outlandish feats, but that night there took things further. They knew this house, infamous for the strange sounds heard at night and the rumors of people disappearing inside. With a grin, Josh raised the stakes. I bet you can't go through the whole house and come out in 30 minutes. The challenge hovered in the air, daring anyone to step up. Ayo scoffed, eager to prove his courage. 30 minutes? I'll be out in 15. The others exchanged uneasy glances but smirked, feigning confidence. Ayo stepped into the house alone, a flashlight in his hand. The moment he crossed the threshold, an icy chill settled over him, and his footsteps echoed ominously in the silent house. The air smelled stale, and he could feel the weight of the house history pressing down on him, almost as if it were daring him to go further. As he moved through the rooms, the walls seemed to breathe, pulsing in and out with a subtle movement he couldn't quite place. Ayo laughed nervously to himself, shaking it off. But every time he tried to turn around or retrace his steps, he felt the rooms shifting, stretching further, making it harder to find his way. In the hallway, Ayo heard whispers, faint and disjointed. He shined his flashlight ahead and caught a glimpse of something darting into a room. The door creaked open by itself, revealing a shadow lingering at the far end of the room. He froze, but his curiosity got the better of him. With his heart pounding, he inched closer. Suddenly, the shadow lunged forward, dissolving into a mist before he could scream. Ayo stumbled back, disoriented, feeling something cold pass through him. Shaking, he whispered, "This isn't funny, guys." But the silence swallowed his voice. He checked the time on his phone. Only 10 minutes had passed, though it felt like hours. Ayo tried to turn back, but realized that every turn led him deeper into the house. He no longer recognized the path he took. The walls seemed closer, closing in as if guiding him to a specific room. A small, dimly lit space with a single chair and a cracked mirror. Ayo's reflection in the mirror was wrong. It was him, but with hollow eyes and a twisted smile that didn't match his expression. The reflection raised his hand as if waving goodbye, and Ayo's flashlight flickered out, plunging him into darkness. In those final moments, he felt something cold gripping his shoulders, dragging him back, and his screams echoed into the darkness. Outside, Josh, Malik, and Tunde watched the house, their earlier excitement now replaced with dread. 30 minutes had passed, and Ayo was nowhere to be seen. "We should go get him," Malik said, his voice shaky. They all knew something was wrong, but no one wanted to admit it. With a deep breath, they pushed the door open and entered the house. It was silent, but the whispers that Ayo had heard began to echo around them as they moved through the dark rooms. Each step felt heavier, like the house was weighing them down. They called out for Ayo, but there was no response. As the three friends searched, the house felt alive, leading them in circles, trapping them in rooms that twisted and stretched beyond reason. They began to feel separated, even though they were only a few steps apart. Shadows darted at the edges of their vision, and Malik swore he felt fingers brush against his arms, though no one was near him. "Ayo, this isn't funny," Josh's voice echoed, swallowed by the oppressive silence. They heard faint footsteps somewhere above them and rushed up the staircase, only to find themselves back in the entryway as if they were caught in a loop. As they turned down the narrow hallway, the flashlight fell on something chilling. It was a pair of Ayo's shoes, abandoned in the middle of the hall. Tunde's hand shook as he picked up the shoe, feeling a cold dread sink into his bones. He's gotta be here somewhere," he stammered. Suddenly, Malik heard a faint whisper, one that sounded disturbingly like Ayo's voice, coming from a room at the end of the hall. He and the others stumbled towards it, calling Ayo's name, but as they reached the door, it slammed shut in their face. Rather, a low, guttural sound emanated from the other side, a sound none of them could recognize. Desperate, they forced the door open and found themselves in the room with a cracked mirror where Ayo was last seen. The air was thick and freezing, making it hard to breathe. And in the reflection, they saw themselves, but not as they were. Their faces were twisted with terror, their eyes hollow, mirroring Ayo's last expression before he disappeared. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the shadows in the corner of the room, a blurry, distorted form that resembled Ayo, though his face was twisted into a weird smile. He reached out a hand toward them, but when Josh tried to grab it, his hand passed through Ayo as if he wasn't really there. Ayo's voice echoed in their minds. "Why did you let me in here?" Panic overtook them. Tunde and Josh turned and sprinted down the hallway with Malik close behind. The whispers intensified, filling the house as if it were mocking them, laughing at their fear. As they reached the front door, Josh threw it open and the three of them rushed outside, only to find Malik's spot empty. They turned back towards the house, but all they saw was darkness in the doorway, like the house had swallowed Malik whole. His final scream echoed, lingering in the night's air before fading into silence. Josh and Tunde stood outside, trembling and breathless. They looked back at the house, knowing it had taken Hayo and Malik, but they had no explanation for what they saw. As they backed away, the front door creaked shut by itself, almost as if bidding them farewell. In the weeks that followed, Josh and Tunde avoided speaking of that night, but they couldn't escape the nightmares. The sounds, the whispers, Ayo's twisted smile. It haunted them, reminding them that the house was still there, waiting for its next visitors. And there you have it, the story of the beds. Some days are better left unmade, especially when they lead you into the unknown. Thank you for watching and supporting the Housed series. If you enjoyed this tale, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more stories that will leave you looking over your shoulder. Stay tuned for the next chapter, and as always, remember, not all doors should be opened. Until next time, stay curious and stay cautious. Bye.